Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do this beautiful pattern. Look at this, it's so pretty. This is the back of the blanket. It's quite flat on the back. Now this is a 2-row repeat, a 2-row, but it's easy. It is easy. I don't do difficult. I can't do difficult. I try and keep everything as easy as possible. Now this is a 4-stitch count. You need 4 stitches for each part of the pattern. It's a 2-row repeat. Your first row, a chain and 3 treble crochets, and your second row is this puff stitch, and that's it. You'll just repeat those 2 rows and it makes this beautiful little section of boxes. I really would have liked to have done this a bit bigger. I was quite surprised at how nice this came out. It's got a lovely straight line up here, and you've also got these little lace holes here as well. I've done this in a sage, the yarn that I've done this in. I know a lot of the time I'll use baby colours, but this is the Women's Institute soft and smooth, and it really is. It is so soft, and it really is a smooth yarn as well. This is an Aran weight yarn, and it's a 400-gram ball. Now, I think this is place that you can get this is Hobbycraft in the UK. It's really pretty. They do these large balls in 3 for 2. They do a lot of the Women's Institute yarn. You get 3 balls for the price of 2, but you can get it online. It's beautiful. This is a sage colour. Oh, it's teal. I thought I keep calling it sage, but the colour's teal, and there's 400 grams in it. That's 100% acrylic, but you can use any yarn for this pattern. Use any yarn and just use the hook size it tells you on your yarn. So I'm going to show you this really easy 2-row repeat. It crochets up quick because it's just over 1 inch high over your 2 rows. So you get a lot of work done for a little amount of time. And the stitch count is 4. So I'm going to show you how to do this really pretty cluster with a puff stitch added in there. It's really pretty and easy Have faith in yourself. Watch the video, get your hook and your yarn and work along at the same time as the video if you're a beginner, so you can get the hang of this. You do get really nice straight edges as well. It's really pretty. So I'm going to show you how to do it. Now please don't think I'm never going to be able to do that. You can do it. When someone shows you and you watch it, physically watch it, it's a lot easier to pick up than trying to read a pattern. And you can make this any length that you like. Any length you like. It's really pretty. So for this pattern, you're going to do your stitches in sets of 4. So do your slip knot whichever way that you would do it. And if you can't do a slip knot, just tie it on to your hook. I'm going to put my yarn over and pull through. That's 1. Yarn over, pull through. That's 2, 3, and 4. I'm not going to do my chain too tight. Don't do it too tight. If you do it too tight, your blanket on the bottom will go in an arch. So even if you've got to just pull your stitches a little bit, just make sure that they're not too tight. In sets of 4, I'm going to chain 1 extra stitch. Chain 1 extra stitch. Now into the second stitch in your chain, don't count the loop, count 1 and 2. Into that second stitch, you're going to do a UK double crochet. Put your hook through the stitch and pull through, yarn over and pull through that stitch. Now you're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3. Into the next stitch you're going to do a double crochet. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Now into that same stitch, the same stitch, you're going to put 3 UK treble crochets. If you're in the USA, these are double crochets for you. So 3 UK treble crochets into the same stitch. That's 1, 2 and 3. You're going to skip 3 stitches. Now be careful that that one doesn't get squashed with all of these stitches here. 1, 2, 3. Going to do a double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and into the same stitch do your treble crochets. 3 treble crochets into the same stitch. 1, 2 and 3. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3. Do your double crochet. You chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and your 3 treble crochets all into the same stitch. 1, 2 and 3. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3. Double crochet, 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, and 3 treble crochets back into that same stitch all the way to the end. And this is what you have. So I've done my last span and I'm going to do a double crochet into the last stitch. I've got 3 stitches left and I'm going to do a double crochet into this last stitch just to finish this row off. The next row you're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Turn your work around. Now into this double crochet here, we've done a chain of 3. Now into the double crochet you're going to do a puff stitch and we're going to go through that stitch 4 times. The puff stitch on this blanket is 4 pulls. I'm going to call it 4 pulls. You'll see what I mean. Put your yarn over your hook and you're going to go into that double crochet at the bottom of those 3 trebles. Pull your yarn through and pull it up. That is 1 pull. Yarn over and go through the same stitch and pull again. Pull your yarn up. That's 2. Yarn over and go into that stitch again and pull up. That's 3. Yarn over and through again and pull. That's 4. You're going to pull through all of those stitches and then you're going to chain 3. So your first stitch, I'll lock that in. So that's 1, 2 and 3. Now into the chain of that band you're going to do a double crochet. A double crochet into that chain. Now down into here where your double crochet is, you're going to do another puff stitch. So you'll do a puff stitch, chain 3 and double crochet into that chain space. Then you'll do a puff stitch down here in that double crochet, chain 3 and do a double crochet into that chain. So we're going straight down into here. So put your yarn over and go into that double crochet between your fans and pull up. That's 1, yarn over, pull up, that's 2, yarn over, pull up, that's 3 and 4. Chain 1, just pull it through all of those stitches and then chain 3, that's 1, that locks it all in, 2 and 3, and double crochet into your chain. You're going to go right down here and do another puff stitch, yarn over and into that double crochet in the V down there and do a puff. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4. You can nip it here just to hold it. Yarn over and pull through all of those stitches and then chain 3. Your first one locks all that together. So that's 1, 2, 3. You're going to double crochet into there. Go straight down and do your puff stitch. So you'll be going, that's your chain of that fan and that's your double crochet down there. Do your puff, 1, 2, 3, yarn over and pull through, that's 4. Pull through all of those stitches and do the first of your chain to lock that in. So that's 1, 2 and 3. Go over to your fan and double crochet into the chain space. So the best thing for you to do is get your yarn and your hook, any yarn, and use the hook size. It tells you on the label of your yarn, and work along with me. Pause the video if you need to. You can do this. These are the only 2 rows that you're going to repeat. This fan and the chain and then your puff stitch. And if you work along with me, you'll pick it up. At the end, you'll always be doing a chain 3, and at the beginning, you'll chain 3 and start your next row. So we've done a double crochet in this chain. We're going down to the bottom of that chain and do a puff stitch. So down into the bottom of this V shape and do your puff stitch. You might just have to pinch that stitch there, that double crochet. Pull up, that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Yarn over and pull through all of those loops. Chain 1 to lock it, that's 1 stitch, 1, 2, 3. So you use the first stitch of your chain of 3 to lock all that together. Double crochet into your chain space. Go down to the double crochet at the bottom of that chain and do your puff stitch. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Pull through all of these loops. Now if you can't get through all of them, come through a few and then go through some more and then through that last stitch. And then do your chain of 3. So your first one locks it, that's 1, 2, 3. Double crochet into the chain space and then do your puff stitch at the bottom. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Yarn over through all of those and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So you're doing your puff stitch down into the bottom of those sets of fans that you did. So you're going down here, that's your fan, that's your chain, and you do your puff stitch into the stitch, the double crochet down here. That's where your puff stitch goes. So we're going to do a double crochet into the last chain, oops, and then do a puff stitch here. 1, 2, 3, 4, pull through all of those, 1 to lock it, and chain 2 more, 1, 2, so that's a chain of 3. And down here you're just going to do a double crochet, do a double crochet down there. Now you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go right over this fan, past this double crochet, and into this chain space you're going to put a double crochet, and then you're going to do a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do this fan row again in these chain spaces. So put your 3 treble crochets into that chain space there, 1, 2, and 3. Skip the fan, skip the double crochet, and in to here you're going to put a double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and then put your fan, your 3 treble crochets in, 1, 2, and 3, all the way along. Now don't worry about you not having one here, we're going to put a puff stitch here, so we'll put a puff stitch in here on the way back. So you'll have puff stitches will sit on top of each other, and your fans will be on top of each other too. So move to the next one. That's what your next row looks like. Now remember, you've got one less of the fans. You've got 8. On mine, I've got an even number of the puff stitches and an odd number of these fans. Now at the top of this chain of 3, I'm going to do a double crochet. I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn my work, and into that double crochet I'm going to do a puff stitch. So we'll do a puff stitch, that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull through all of those stitches and chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Over to the chain space, that's your fan and that's your chain space, do a double crochet, and then down into this double crochet here you're going to do a puff stitch. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull through all of those loops and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Double crochet into the chain space, then down here and do your puff stitch. That's 1, 2, 3, yarn over and do your 4th one. Pull through all of those loops and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, all the way to the end. These are the 2 rows that you're going to keep repeating, your puff stitch and your fan. So So at the end we're still going to do a puff stitch down into here, your last puff stitch, 1, pull up, that's 2, pull up, that's 3, into that double crochet that's down there, and do your chain, 1, 2, 3, and down, and then into the top of that chain of 3 here you're going to do a double crochet. And this is what we have. Now this is the wrong side, and this is the side where the puffs show up the most. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and turn your work, and we're going to do the fan stitch again. Now, so your puff stitches will be aligning up with your fans. Don't worry too much if they look a little bit over. It will straighten up the more you do this blanket. So again, you're going to completely ignore the puff stitch and go over to the first chain space. You'll do your double crochet into the chain space, do your chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to do that fan row. So these are the 2 rows that you'll keep repeating, the fan row and the puff row. Just rewind the video and follow those 2 rows. Remember your chain 3 at the end, and also remember you will have 1 puff stitch more than the fan, because they both go on the end, one at each end. And on my sample I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 puff stitches, and I've got 7 of the fan stitches. So if you do your blanket and you've got 20 fans to begin with, you should have 21 puff stitches. If you've got 18 fans, you'll have 19 puff stitches. You'll have 1 more puff stitch. So you'll continue your blanket doing the fan row and the puff row. So I'm on my 3 treble crochets now. So that's 1, 2 and 3. Jump over and do a double crochet into the chain space. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then do your 3 treble crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then do your 3 treble crochets. Jump over to the next chain space, so skip the puff stitch, skip that double crochet and do a double crochet, chain 3 and your 3 treble crochets, and this is what you'll get. You'll end up with a beautiful blanket like this. It's really pretty. So you can see I've got a puff stitch on the end here and a puff stitch here, and I've got my fans in between like that, and they're the 2 rows you'll keep repeating. Just rewind the video and watch both rows until you get the hang of it. It's a really pretty stitch and you should give it a try. I think you're really going to like it. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. It's free to subscribe, and if you click on the bell icon, YouTube will tell you when I put up another tutorial. And YouTube have also added a join button. If you want to support the channel with a small donation every month, if you click on the join button, then you can do that as well and help support the channel. It's not just yarn that you need when you have a YouTube channel. There's electricity, there's video equipment, there's computers I need to edit, and it does take up quite a bit of time and energy as well, and every little bit helps to keep the channel running, and that way everyone can benefit from all these wonderful tutorials. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.